Prepare your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, for what you are about to hear is not only surprising but downright nasty. What if I told you that the so-called queen of resilience, Remy Ma, was behind the greatest incredible swindle in hip-hop history? What if I told you that her heartbreaking ICU crisis, emotional hospital stays, intense prayers, and incessant hashtags weren't real? Yes. Fasten your seatbelts because a conspiracy is now being revealed by unknown sources. Remy Ma may have fabricated her entire medical problem to guilt-trip Papoose into falling in love with her again, based on leaked audio, hidden nurse confessions, and some oddly timed social media posts. After all, with a rented hospital room and a fake for drip, who needs Cupid? But we're breaking down, so don't worry. That has the sound of a bad Lifetime film. Let's get right to the crazy. The hip-hop community essentially stopped when it was announced that Remy Ma had been admitted to the intensive care unit. It was like witnessing a worldwide meltdown in real time, with prayers and tears trending. Fans were organizing candlelight vigils, and celebrities were sharing tearful selfies. You won't look at ICU selfies the same way after hearing how deep this rabbit hole goes, I promise. Behind the hospital curtains, the oxygen masks, the heart monitors, and the somber violin music playing in everyone's minds, there was no real tragedy taking place, despite the fact that even those who barely knew Remy Ma started tweeting as though they had lost a blood relative. Rather, a mastermind named Remy Ma was at work, and you can see that he was supposedly laughing and plotting while everyone else was crying because security sources close to the Bronx rapper claim that following all of the tumultuous public outbursts, cheating rumors, and purported covert meetings with Papoose, her marriage to him started to deteriorate. This is because the entire medical situation was more of an Academy Award-worthy performance than a horrific catastrophe. Nurse T will be called by a strangely chatty hospital insider, and the footage that was meant to remain hidden. Because only a life or death situation, in Remy's imagination, could make Papoose stop being angry. Only seeing her on the edge of death could make him lose his dignity and want to return to her. For a while, it was a last-ditch effort to avert a medical crisis, win him back, and remind him why he had once called her his queen. But why not a heartfelt Instagram post or a theatrical love letter? After sobbing, missing appearances and concerts, and spending nights curled up in a chair next to her bed, Pap was spotted rushing to the hospital with puffy eyes. He even shared sincere tributes on the internet, calling Remy his eternal love and asking people to pray for him. This is where the eyeballs started to show, but it was Oscar-level manipulation. According to reports, a nurse later identified only as T saw some strange things, such as Remy's heart monitor being unplugged but still Nurse T allegedly caught Remy laughing during a secret phone call, saying, "Girl, he's falling for it," which was the final straw. "I warned you that males are quite basic. You can't make this stuff up, people," she replied, her face hot. She further explained how, in the absence of anyone, she would alter her oxygen mask and how, in the presence of specific photographers, her alleged visitation restrictions would inexplicably disappear. When Papoose walked in, Remy immediately lay down and acted weak, despite security footage showing him sitting up and texting rapidly. Then, a hospital bill was the largest leak of all. You see, the intensive care unit room was hired out like a VIP suite at a 5-star hotel, not booked by a doctor or assigned for medical reasons. According to insiders, Remy paid cash in advance for a simulation room, which is a usual setup. In other words, there were flashing lights and a lot of awful acting, but no actual emergency or life-saving equipment. Can you guess who covered the cost? Ray's business manager has a connection to a shell corporation. Is it a coincidence? Not in my opinion. All the physicians needed to do was switch on the smoke machine and fluff the pillows as Papoose was begging them to do all in their power. Welcome to Broken Heart, Remy Ma's ICU Love Trap 101. Some admirers started to pose awkward questions, such as why no medical staff ever posted official updates, while others kept clutching their pearls and expressing prayers for Remy beneath every post. Why did the fans feel so angry? And trust me, it gets messier the further you go. Because just when you believe that things can't get any worse, you're ready to be smacked hard by yet another twist. The leaks came out, and wow, they were juicy. The first was the audio recordings, allegedly made by a night shift nurse who could no longer keep quiet. Remy and her pals can be heard giggling, saying, "Y'all, I got Pep crying like a baby. I'm eager for him to provide the new chain I asked for, and the assignment is almost complete. Yes, being ill is a full-time job." Remy effectively made ICU fraud a side gig, if you thought it could be any more obvious. However, it got worse. Leaked internal hospital memos revealed that staff members had voiced concerns about the celebrity patient, citing things like the fact that Ray's team had requested to set up emergency scenes for the cameras and that there were no indications of trauma, infection, or cardiac distress in his vital signs. A CPR exercise was allegedly requested by the patient's entourage in order to interact on social media. The request was turned down. In the meantime, followers who had previously worshipped the ground Remy walked on started to use TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Within hours, hashtags including #prayer, #IceGate, and #RemyCam were trending. Shared a side-by-side comparison of Remy's footage with that of actual ICU patients, pointing out differences like her flawless nails and eyelashes and the apparent lack of injuries. In a single day, 12 million people viewed the film, and prominent people left comments. On The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God made fun of her, saying that Remy Ma needed an Oscar more than a miracle. During his show, Joe Budden chuckled and said, "At even 50 Cent never missed a chance to make fun of others by posting a meme of Remy in a hospital bed with the words, 'When you love drama more than oxygen, skull.' But Remy faced more than just cyberbullying. She also had to contend with anonymous sources who claimed to be hospital administration insiders and started making assumptions about potential criminal conduct. Don't believe that Ray's troubles are over. The man she supposedly tried everything to win back, Papoose, was starting to piece things together. This is because wait a minute, feigning a medical emergency is not only untidy, but it's against the law. According to reports, authorities began snooping about. Was there any fraud? Were insurance firms constructing fraudulent procedures? Were resources from the hospital mishandled? Did her fictitious emergency prevent actual patients from getting intensive care unit treatment? The treachery struck in a new way. "I prayed for you," one fan remarked. "I shed tears for you. You made a movie set out of your hospital bed. I'm finished. You feigned death for me," another person added. He stopped coming to the hospital and he stopped posting updates. According to insiders, he even began reviewing previous events with lawyers. Fans weren't feeling sorry for Remy, and the fairy tale reunion on which he had staked everything fell apart in an instant. With slow-motion zoom-ins and CSI caliber footage, YouTube detectives were thoroughly enjoying analyzing every image, live broadcast, and irregularity. Clout no, sis. Jesus and treatment are what you need. You know, 50 Cent drama programs couldn't script this better if they tried. That's why a viral meme that featured an image of a hospital bed with the words "New Season of Power" looking amazingly realistic precisely captured it all. Just when everyone thought Remy Ma's terrible situation couldn't get much worse, a second hospital insider stepped out. The contracts, which are real documents that demonstrate that Remy's ICU stay was planned weeks before she ever passed out in public, were made public in addition to documents and hidden recordings. Most people agree that this was a career kamikaze rather than just a poor PR decision. Receipts, along with scripts outlining what hospital employees were expected to say in the event that the media arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a business transaction, not an emergency. Her career was ruined by the memes, and the internet had already cancelled her. But Remy Ma's real problems were just becoming more heated because, once the leaked contracts showed up on the timeline, she had to deal with the authorities and lawyers in addition to angry fans. According to investigators, government authorities were ignoring her as though she had tried to fake $1 billion inheritance. The Department of Health State Insurance Fraud Sections, the FBI's Public Corruption Task Force, and several other government agencies were now involved, according to some conveniently released emails and unnamed insiders. Committed insurance fraud in the process since, as you may remember, sources say that some actual medical invoices for operations that never happened were filed through insurance, despite the fact that she paid privately for the simulation room. Is textbook insurance fraud, which carries serious consequences, including jail time, according to one investigator who asked to remain unnamed. Hip-hop's queen to the cell's queen. According to accounts, Papoose departed their shared residence only 2 days following the disclosure. Even worse, according to court documents that were conveniently leaked, he allegedly filed for a legal separation and is now asking for full custody of their youngest kid, alleging reckless public behavior and emotional harm. There was a straightforward scam involving Block D. You should reconsider if you believed that the rap scene, which is known for scheming to benefit itself, had her back. Papoose's lawyers asserted in a leaked email from a prominent apparel brand that had been negotiating a sponsorship deal with her that Ray's willful deceit created an environment that was dangerous for emotional growth. The chance of losing everything. In other words, business partners discreetly pulled out, endorsement opportunities vanished, friends drifted apart, and more. Stated, "We cannot support those who are embroiled in controversies involving public dishonesty." Brutal and cold, but well earned. Remy knew the damage was coming, but she tried to limit it. She sobbed excessively and blamed everything on a misunderstanding. During her frantic attempt at an exclusive interview with a second-tier gossip publication, she asserted that she was actually sick, even though the leaked phone calls were taken out of context. The hospital suite was booked for privacy rather than for fraud, and no diagnosis was ever made. The comment section mocked her in January, stating, "This woman faked death for attention. Girl, or more accurately, I see you lying, sis." The public's response was 2 words too late. "Your career is over, so you had better have a proper funeral." Partygoers would mock her while wearing hospital gowns, a practice known as the #Remy Challenge. The final straw came when an insurance company launched a formal lawsuit, just when it appeared that she might be able to garner some sympathy, following the viral remix of a Netflix parody movie called Emergency Room. Yes, Remy Ma is being accused of malicious intent, deceptive techniques, and false statements in a full-fledged civil action. This is not just about one person lying, one of the insurance company's lawyers stated during a press conference. The goal is to compromise the integrity of a whole healthcare system. Translation: they will use her as an example. Rumor has it that federal prosecutors are secretly preparing to prosecute her for more than $2 million in damages for brand damage, misusing healthcare resources, and making false medical claims. Criminal charges, and Remy faces a $250,000 fine. For filing a false claim, a 10-year jail sentence, and permanent exclusion from future insurance coverage if convicted. Even if fans are still watching, rap battles and courtroom clashes are getting more violent and are starting to resemble an unavoidable slow-motion car wreck. Remy's journey from prison to platinum albums was previously praised. According to what we recently heard, Papoose is embarking on a journey and launching a mentoring program while sharing motivational sayings like, "Ever be so loyal that you betray yourself." Indeed, there were gunshots. Remy Ma fooled herself out of everything. She had developed love and commitment for, rather than just pretending that there was an emergency. Remy Ma is now the perfect example of how one stupid, desperate action may destroy love, devotion, and legacy. The ICU stunt was shocking, ladies and gentlemen, but it was followed by a full-fledged career obituary. And trust me when I say that. You haven't heard the end of this issue because the truth will eventually come out when the federal government shows up and the lawsuits start to pile up more than medical bills. No physician could turn her around. No prayer group could mend this scar, and no contrived hospital photo shoot would ever restore her reputation. The scandal that ruined what was left of Remy Ma's legacy and completely upended hip-hop. It was a fast plummet straight into oblivion, from ICU beds to court subpoenas, from crocodile tears to million-dollar lawsuits. Whether Remy Ma can ever bounce back from this level is now the real question. On national television, you'll recall just where you were when Remy Ma went from leaning back to collapsing. I want to know what you think because, trust me, we're only beginning this conversation. Was Remy Ma dangerous or just desperate? Is it best for Papoose to go on permanently? But above all, could you ever overlook a stunt like this hit? Can Papoose ever forgive someone who has betrayed him by pretending to be broken? Or is this the conclusion of a tale that we all believed to be about loyalty? The next controversy is always a heartbeat away in the world of falsehoods and fame. For more stunning celebrity bombshells, click the like button and subscribe.